بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين. الحمد لله الفرد الأحد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد، ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيدنا ونبينا وشفيعنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرضين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتخبين المنتجبين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يوم عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. أما بعد، فقد قال أمير المؤمنين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: ومنطقهم الصواب. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Respected mu'mineen, first and foremost, I would like to admonish myself and you, beloved mu'mineen, to have taqwa and be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in each and every walk of your life. As taqwa is everything, as taqwa is guarantee for the salvation of both the world dunya and hereafter. And in this regard of the taqwa, we are discussing the khutbatul muttaqeen, the khutbah which Amir al-Mu'mineen has uttered from his holy mouth on the request of Hammam. In that khutbah, Amir al-Mu'mineen 110 characteristics of the pious and the righteous people mentioned. And over there, after the muqaddimah or the preamble, we have started the counting of them. So the first characteristics Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is mentioned over there. He says, وَمَنْطِقُهُمُ الصَّوَابِ. The righteous people, their mantiq, it is always sawab. Their way of speaking, it is always correct. So over here, when we talk about the mantiq, we just translate by saying speaking. Their speaking or their tongue, it is always correct. So what is the meaning of mantiq? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also has used this word nutq or mantiq, because the root word of mantiq it is a nutq. So Allah has used this word for His Prophet, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Najm, verse number 3, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. My Prophet does not speak but according to the desire of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So over here, many ulama, they interpreted this word nutq by the character. They said not only the tongue of Rasulullah is in accordance to the revelation of Allah, but the whole character of Rasulullah, his way of talking, his way of walking, his way of sitting, his way of conducting, his way of life, it is all in accordance to the wahi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one meaning of the nutq, it is character, it is conduct, it is way of behaving. So this is what our ulama interpreted. When it comes to the the word Amirul Mu'minin has used sawab. What is the meaning of sawab? Also, when we look at the Quran, in Quran you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used this word as a salutation on Rasulullah, as a tawheed, recitation of La ilaha illallah, or tamjid, reciting, or praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the meaning of sawab, according to some interpreter, they say it is tawheed or it is, salawat on Rasulullah and his household. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah An-Naba, verse number 38, He said, يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الرُّوحُ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ صَفًّا. On the day of judgment, when all the angels and the ruh, the spirit, when they all are standing in one row, or when they are standing in line, so لا يتكلمون, because there is a haiba of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is it is the day of resurrection. No one is allowed to have any intervene in the matter of Allah, in the judgment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all the angels and all the makhluk of Allah, they are standing in one row. لا يتكلمون, and they will not speak anything إلا من أذن له الرحمن, except those who are given permission by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَقَالَ صَوَابًا. So over here, sawab with swad, it is used, the same word what Amir al-Mu'minin uses in his segment. He says, these angels, they will not speak unless they get the permission from Allah. And when they speak, they will speak only the tawheed, monotheism. They will praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will recite salutation on Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. So this is Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So this is how some ulama and the interpreter of Nahjul Balagha, they interpreted it. They said the meaning of sawab over here, it is tawheed and salutation on his on Prophet and his household. Now, when it comes to the this segment, mantiq or another meaning I would like to share with you. Mantiq, as in previous khutbah also I indicated, it is a science. Mantiq, which is called logic in Arabic, in English. So what is the meaning of mantiq, and why the science or the scholars of this science, they have given this name? So when it is asked from them, why you have given this science this name mantiq? So they said, actually, when a person speaks, this science has given some legislation. So they say the rule or the legislation for speaking, they said there are three major roles for this science. They said number one, it is when someone utter a word, so it should be a meaningful word. So if someone is speaking meaningless words, so it means he's not speaking in accordance to the mantiq, the science of logic science. And they said the first condition, that it should be meaningful. The second condition, it should be out of intention. Many times we speak without having any intention. So such a word or such a sentence, such a kalam or such a discourse is not regarded as a logical discourse. So number one, it should be meaningful. Number two, it should be out of intention. Number three, they said it should be, when you are speaking, it should be according to the laws of the mantiq. For example, when there is a need of stressing, you have to put stress. When there is a need of, just uttering the sentence without any stress, you have to do it. So if you are not following all those rules, so your discourse, your kalam, and your wording are not in accordance to the science of logic. So that is why, they said we have given this name, a mantiq, to this particular science. So if you look at what they have said, so the meaning of this segment of Amir al-Mu'minin, he says, mantiquhum as-sawab, righteous people, when they speak sawab. So the meaning of it would be that righteous people, when they speak meaningful sentences. Number two, when they speak out of intention. Number three, when they speak in accordance to the laws. They do not go against the logic of, against the laws of the logic. So this is how our ulama, they have interpreted it. But Amir Mu'min says, وَمَنْتِقُهُمُ الصَّوَابِ. They are not, whatever they speak correctly. They do not speak, meaningless sentences. They do not speak, something which is against the law. They do not, hurt the feeling of the people. So they always speak correctly. They always speak precisely and, beautifully. Now, this tongue, mantiq, over here, Amir al-Mu'minin uses this term mantiq. Mantiq means actually, in accordance to the grammar, a place where there, words are uttered, means, our tongue. So in short, we can translate that their tongue is always correct. So now, this tongue, it is a great name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Rahman, he said, وَعَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانِ. We taught you how to speak. We taught you how to, utter words. So this tongue, it is a great ni'mah. Just imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have not given us the tongue, so what would happen with us? We could not, communicate. We could not convey the message. We could not, seek help from one another. So this great tongue, the greatness of tongue, we would realize when we look at people, those who are, dumb, they are not able to speak. Those who are voiceless. So imagine, it's a great, ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why in Surah Naba also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, وَلِسَانٌ وَشَفَتَيْنِ. Don't you remember that we have given you the tongue and these shafatain, these lips? So it is a great ni'mah. Now, when we come to know that this tongue, it is a great ni'mah, and whatever great and whatever, beautiful thing we have, along that there is a danger sleeping. So what, for example, if you look at a mountain, so mountain is very high, it is a very huge, bulky. So we say that it is so beautiful, very high. So, but along that height, along that, hugeness, there is a danger which is hidden next to it, and we call it valley, deep valley. The more mountain is high, the more deep valley you have next to it. So same over here, we have this great name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there are a lot of dangers are hiding or lying next to our tongue. So we have to realize, because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, he says that this tongue, if someone's tongue is not in his control, you should ignore him. You should not, be attentive to such a person. So this tongue, it is very, very important. But if someone's tongue is not in his control, means you should keep a distance from him. And also, inna akthara khataya ibn Adam min lisan. The most sin are committed by human being, they are committed by his tongue. And also, once upon a time, there was a man, he come to our fourth Imam, and he looked at, and it was the Hajj time. And he said, Ma aktharul hujjaj, ya Imam, so many hujjaj, we got big crowd we are having today, and everyone is, chanting, labbaik, labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, la sharika laka labbaik. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam put his hand on his eyes, and when the hand of Imam comes on his eyes, so he started looking at the reality, and he looked at the crowd, that there are a lot of animals. So he said, Ya Imam, they are not people, huh? Ma aktharu zajij. Huh? They are not hujjaj, they are zajij. Huh? So sometimes, what they are chanting, they are not chanting, labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. So this tongue, it is very, very important. Now, I would like to, discuss the danger of the tongue. What are the danger of the tongue? However, there are a lot of benefit for the tongue, a lot of beautiful things, which relate to our tongue. When we recite, when we recite Quran, we recite it by our tongue. When we praise, Ahlul Bayt, we praise it by our tongue. When we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we praise it by our tongue. But there are a lot of dangers. Those are hidden, or those are lying next to the tongue. So here ulama, they said there are, some major dangers. Those are, lying next to our tongue. What are the dangers of the tongue? So first danger, our ulama, they said that because it is very dangerous, our tongue. Why it is dangerous? Because it is always with us. You carry your tongue always with you, and it is a mean of sin, and which is always with you, and it is very dangerous. For example, if you want to, if someone wants to have a wine, so he should go somewhere, and because the wine is not available all the time with him, so if he want to commit the having wine, so he has to travel to somewhere and buy it. So, but tongue, which is more dangerous than the wine, and this instrument and this tool, it is always with us. So that is why ulama, they said, it is very dangerous. You have to be very careful. So one of the danger of the tongue is because it is lying always with us, and it is available all the time for us. And the second danger of the tongue, they said, it does not cost you. The other sin, for example, you want to have a haram food, so you have to pay money for it. You have to, drive to that particular place. You have to spend fuel. You have to pay cost of it. But tongue, it is free for use. You can use it anytime. You want to abuse someone, it does not going to cost you. It is, you are not going to even put some energy on it. You just use and just move it. That is why ulama, they say, this tongue, it is in all of our body. It's a very small, but it's very dangerous. And look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this tongue. This tongue, it is living in a room, which has 32, tongue all around it, 32 teeth all around it. And look at how sharp it is. It is living among 32 teeth, but it never ever comes in between the teeth. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, front, back, and it is moving all around there. But it is, working so nicely and very dangerously. So we are counting the danger of it. So number one, it is all the time with us. Number two danger, it does not cost us anything. Number three, this tongue, it is possessed by everyone. There are many sins, everyone cannot commit. For example, someone wants to commit the sin of having business of profit, interest business. Let's say someone wants to do the interest business. That is a haram business. So he must have money. But everyone cannot, commit such a sin. But the sins, those are committed by your tongue, by tongue. So this tool, it is available with everyone. No matter you are faqih, no matter you are, rich, no matter you are a man, you are women, you have power, you have no power. Everyone has this tongue and commit the sin with it. So the third danger of it, because it is available for everyone. Or for example, there are sins, those are committed by guns. So everyone does not have that gun, so everyone cannot commit it. But this tongue, it is more dangerous than the gun, and it is available for everyone. So that is why ulama said the danger of tongue is more than any other thing. Anyway, so this is number three. Number four, They said the qubh of the sins those are committed by tongue, they are ruined. Let me explain for you. You know, every sin it has its own abhorrence. Sometimes the sin, abhorrence is still, is there. It remains. Sometimes the abhorrence of the sins is ruined. When the abhorrence of sin is ruined, so it is very dangerous. Let me give you example of it. Sometimes people, they commit a lot of sin, but the abhorrence of particular sins are there. Let's say, in our community, having a wine or drinking, consuming the wine, it is, the abhorrence of it, it is still there. We do not get closer to it. Or the eating of the flesh of pork, or the poor eating pork, in community, the abhorrence of it, it remains intake. It is there. No one get closer to the pork. No one get closer to haram food, no haram meat. So everyone says, oh, it is a haram, and it is a big haram. But on other hand, many people they commit and they eat flesh which is haram, and what it is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا. Eating flesh or flesh of a pig, or eating pork, it is abhorring for us. But eating the flesh of dead brother is not abhorring for us, because it is common in the community to backbite for one another. Quran says, if you backbite your brother, so what does it mean? It means that you are eating the flesh of your dead brother. Why? So why we commit this ghibat? Because the abhorrence of the ghiba is removed from the society, from the sins. So that is why the tongue sins are always, tongue sins abhorrence are removed from the society. So that is why ulama they said this is the fourth danger of the tongue. We have to be very careful about it. And number 5, a danger of the this sin, this tongue. They say, for example, in society, if you want to commit a sin, so every sin it has its own tool. Someone wants to drink, so he has to take only the wine, without instead of wine, if he take the juice, it is not going to work. But this tongue, it is a tool for different sins. You can commit backbiting by one tongue. You can ruin the respect of people with one tongue. You can abuse people. You can lie with. So one tongue and several guna and several sins. So one tool for several sins. So that is why the ulama they said the another danger of the tongue is because there is only one tool, but with one tool you can do multiple sins. So that is why it is counted that the sin that the tongue it is dangerous, and so this is one of the danger of the. And now, number 6, they say one of the danger of the tongue it is they say the distance between good and bad is not there. It's a very small distance. Let me give you example. Someone wants to, let's say, listen the music. So he has to wake, he has to stand up from here, and then he has to go somewhere, where the people are not watching him. So it takes time. There is a distance. He has to travel from one place to another place. Let's say someone wants to have a haram food. He has to stand up from his house, go to the supermarket or the restaurant. So it takes time for him. There is a distance. But the tongues or the sins, those are committed by tongue. So it does. There is no distance. One person is reciting the Quran, and immediately he will close it down and start backbiting it. So there is no gap. There is no distance, in between the sins of the or in between sin and the good of the tongue, which are done by our tongue. So this is number 6. Number 7, they says the sins those are committed by our tongue, they have a dimension which is called social dimension. Many sin human being commit by different organs. Let's say person he commit adultery, zina, So the effect of the zina, it confined to a person or two people. But the sins those are committed by the tongue of human being, it has social dimension also. You know what human being utter from his mouth, the effect or the effects of it, consequences of it, is not confined with the human being. It reaches to even to the others. It reaches to maybe to whole world. Uh, in a place, person he give a statement, and massacre and the, let's say, the killing, and a lot of problem could occur because of the movement of one tongue. And that is why hadith says, on the day of the judgment, this tongue is going to be punished more than any other part of body, any part of body. And then on the day of judgment, the tongue would complain to Allah, Ya Allah, I am the smallest one among the parts of body, because hands are very long, and the legs are, mashallah, very heavy and very big. The other parts of body, mashallah, they are, they have hajm, they have volume, but I am also small. Ya Allah, you are punishing me more than any other part of body. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say that your crime was unlimited, because you have spoken a word, and the respect of the people are ruined, life of people are ruined, and the wealth of people are ruined, the ismat, chastity of women, they are ruined, because the tongue is small, and it's the crime which are committed by the tongue, it is huge. So that is why Amirul Mu'mineen, he says, the righteous people, mantiquhum as-sawab, when they speak correctly, they speak beautifully. Their harm does not reaches to himself and the others. Let us pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq to control our tongue. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق أجمعين ثم الصلاة والسلام على نبينا وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. Respected Mu'mineen, once again I would like to admonish myself and you beloved Mu'mineen to have taqwa and be among the muttaqeen, and muttaqeen are those who can benefit precisely from the Quran. So in this short khutbah, I would like to mention the jurisprudential issue. So the question was come by one of our brother. He said that when we perform our sajda, so sometime our hair are mashallah grown today. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, those who are elderly people, they do not have long hair. But some people, they have long hair, and when they go in sajda, their hair come in between the mohar, the sajdaga, and their forehead. So what is the ruling over here? Of course, our maraji, they says that when you are in sajda, your seven parts of body should be placed on the ground, and your forehead should be placed on something on what sajda is correct. So here our maraji, they said, if partially your forehead is placed on sajdaga, your sajda is correct. Let's say your sajdaga is this much, and you place your forehead on the sajdaga, half of it is covered with your long hair, and little bit is empty or it is clean, and you place it, that forehead on your sajdaga. So in this case, your sajda is correct. But if your hair covers entire of place of sajda, so in this case your sajda has a problem. You have to if you do it purposely and both sajdas were incorrect, so you have to repeat your namaz. So this is one thing. The second question, it is in regard of Quranic sajda. We have four sajdas, those are wajib in regard of the Quran. When you recite the ayah of that particular, for example, Surah Najm, Surah Iqra, and Surah Hamim Sajda, and Surah Alif Lam Tanzil. So there are certain ayat, if you recite them, sajda become obligatory upon you. Now question is that if someone listen those ayat from the saved or from a clip, let's say, which is a recorded clip from MP3 or from video, which is a recorded one. So is it, is sajda become wajib upon you after listening that recording? So our Maraji, they said, if it is recording, then sajda is not wajib. So, but if someone is reciting that ayah alive, so in this case, sajda become wajib. For example, if you are listening to a radio, and someone, if Quran is played with a saved clip, so in this case, sajda is not wajib. But if someone is reciting a live broadcast is there, and he's reciting an ayah which cause wajib sajda, so in this case, sajda is going to be wajib upon you. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيدنا ونبينا وشفيعنا وطبيب نفوسنا مولانا بالقاسم المصطفى محمد والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيد الوصي مولانا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب اللهم صل على محمد والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على صديقة الطاهرة سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة الزهراء اللهم صل على محمد والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على وارث أمير المؤمنين الحسن المجتبى اللهم صل على محمد والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيد الشهداء أبي عبد الله الحسين والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين زين العابدين وعلى محمد بن علي باقر علم الأولين والآخرين وعلى جعفر بن محمد الصادق وعلى موسى بن جعفر الكاظم وعلى علي بن موسى الرضا وعلى محمد بن علي الجواد وعلى علي بن محمد الهادي وعلى الحسن بن علي الزكي العسكري وعلى الحجة بن الحسن القائم المهدي صلوات الله وسلامه عليهم أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. اللهم تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات وإنك منزل البركات وإنك على كل شيء قدير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وأولاده المعصومين حجج الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. وجهت وجهي الذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا مسلما وما أنا من المشركين. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة وينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربي زدني علما وفهما ويقينا والحقني بالصالحين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر واركع واسجد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله ربنا الكريم الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وأولاده المعصومين حجج الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله وجهت وجهي الذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا مسلما وما أنا من الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كذلك الله ربنا الكريم الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر